I have no excuse. It just is what it is. How are y'all doing today? Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Yeah, I could be colorblind, but at least I know I look good in blue. So, if you like my blue shirt, please make a comment. Oh my gosh, welcome back to the Antarctic South Pole, where the temperature was a balmy -6 overnight. So we had a heat wave. We warmed up by 6 degrees from the previous night. I did put a link, as of in the last few minutes, I put a link to Darby's Castle. It's a cover by the Chapmans down in Springfield. My buddies down there just did this song. I think they just put it out today. And I'm telling you, they did a really nice job on it. You're going to want to hear it. So be sure to click on that link after we're done. And please do me a favor and just make a comment and say, Rosa sent us, or Jerry Rosa sent us or something like that. But I would appreciate it if you do that. For whatever reason, it doesn't have very many views, and it's really a good version of the song. And their instrumentation is just incredible. It's just really, really good. You'll love it if you take the time to listen to it. We had our play along last night, and I did the best I could. I made quite a few bobbles last night, but it just kind of is what it is at this stage in my life. I do as well as I can do. Since I talked to you yesterday, and actually even really, from yesterday to last night's show, these problems popped up, and I told the folks there that watched the show or that were involved in the play along last night. They heard me say this, but just since 1 o'clock yesterday to 7 o'clock last night, my tooth started hurting really bad. It's in the lower jaw here, toward the back. It's one that was filled back when I was a kid, with the old metal fillings. And I'm sure I'm headed for a root canal on that puppy. And I've already made an appointment for Wednesday because it kind of kept me awake most of the night. I think I slept 3 hours whether I needed it or not. Got up bright and early this morning, went out and cut more firewood. Let's see, there was also from, 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon when we talked to 7 o'clock, one of the fixtures to the water in the metal shop froze and broke, and water flooded the metal shop. It wasn't too bad. It's just a concrete floor, and it's not that big a deal, and there's not much sitting on the floor, so it wasn't that big a deal. But just, yet another fun little time that I have to fix. But I don't think it'll be very hard to fix. I think it's fairly easy. And then also in that same time frame before 7 o'clock last night, JR took it upon himself to just borrow my Bobcat. He didn't tell me or nothing. He just took it, and he took a big hay bale out to his horses or whatever. And it's not that big a deal. I wouldn't really mind. It would be kind of nice if he just let me know he's borrowing it, though, but he never does. And anyway, he's out there, in that cold weather, and the Bobcat, as he was bringing it, but he finished his job, so his chore got finished. But then he's bringing it back, and before he could get it back in the metal building, it died, and it wouldn't restart. So I've got that to deal with now. And you might say, well, that's JR's problem. He should fix it. And yeah, in a perfect world, I agree with you. So I've got to go down there this afternoon now and try to warm that up and figure out what the problem is there and get that fixed. I think I know what the problem is. That Bobcat, of course, I bought it used several years ago now, and it's always had a problem where it shuts off. What happens is there's junk in the fuel tank. I know it's what it is. There's just stuff. I don't know what it is, if it's leaves or junk, just junk in the fuel tank. And after so long a time, it covers that outlet. I guess it covers the outlet where the fuel's going out, and the fuel can't pass through. Well, what I do is I just unhook the fuel line back there by the engine. And sometimes if I don't have anything handy, I just blow through it with my mouth, and you can blow and you can hear the tank bubble. And once you hear that, it blows the junk off the inlet there, and then just hook it back up. And then you have to squeeze the bubble to pump the fuel back up into the injectors and all that. You got to get all the air out of the line or it won't start. Basically, in terms of gas engines, it's a specific thing that causes them to run. But in terms of diesel engines, it's pretty much fuel. I mean, like 9 times out of 10, it's a fuel problem. If you can get fuel to the engine, 9 times out of 10, they're going to run. So that's the problem on this, I'm pretty sure. It's just that I'm just sure that it's probably been used enough that's worked its way back over and clogged the port again. And you might say, well, you need to fix that. Well, yeah, if you could get to it, if you could even get sort of close to it, it'd already be fixed. But trust me, they bury that sucker in there, and it's buried under hoses and under seats and engines, and you can't even get near it. You can't even see it, let alone get near it. So, what do? The only other thing I thought about trying is to put my endoscope down in there and see if I can see something and maybe figure out some way to try to clean it out that way down through the neck, but that's the only option I got. I know that's what the problem is. But anyway, that's just yet my other disaster that I have to fix. Let's see. Today's kind of a show and tell for the most part here. I got a couple of 2 or 3 things to show you. I've mentioned before that Matt Carricker, he is one of the big YouTube names. He's not the biggest, but he's really big on YouTube. He's got several channels, and he's got millions and millions of subscribers. And in fact, he is the world's largest firearms channel, or he always was. I don't know if he still is, but because he's shutting everything down. He's just decided he's done. He's rich. He's made his money with it. He's a young guy. He's probably only in his 30s, I would imagine. He might be bumping 40, but I doubt it. Anyway, he's given away his big 1-ton truck, one of his 1-ton trucks. It's his own personal truck, and he's giving it away on his channel. And all you have to do is you buy his merch, of course. That just with as many viewers as he gets, he's going to make more on selling his merch. I'm not kidding you about this. This is a black and white fact. He's going to make more on his merch than what that truck cost. There's no doubt about it. So, and especially what it's worth now, because it's used. I mean, it's not that old. I think it's a 2017 or 2019 or something like that. So it's a nice truck, but it's a big 1-ton dually type truck. It's probably $100,000 truck if you went and bought it now. So I bought, a demolition hat. He's got shirts, and I bought a shirt. Yeah, it's always backwards. And on the back, let's see, it's got Demolition. And he also has a channel called Demolition Ranch, which is a big resort. And he's going to continue owning that for a while, but that's even going to be up for sale too, it sounds like. But anyway, I just bought those shirts and the hat. And then I bought a couple little stickers. I don't care anything about stickers at all. I don't ever put them on anything. I could care less about these. But it was just $1 or $2, and that just rounded it up so that every $5 you spent, you got another entry into the truck. I never go for these sweepstake things, never. But I thought, what the heck? I like his show. He's going to go out of business. So I just thought I'd just go ahead and buy that and, take a chance on getting a truck, as outside chance, because he's going to have a lot of entries. There's no doubt about that. The other thing I've got to show you here, if you guys remember, something fell on the floor there. You remember a while back, a year or two ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago now, because the way my memory is, Sue and a couple of granddaughters and different people entered the cave back there, and they dug out a bunch of clay mud and refined it down to make pottery with it. And I asked Sue to make me a coffee mug. It's actually a hot chocolate mug because I don't drink coffee. And so she's making this. And this just came out of the clay, out of the cave. And, of course, the light never lets you see, just right. But anyway, so this is still wet. I mean, it's actually, you can feel some dampness in it right now. It's getting hard. So I got to be careful with it. But she's going to fire this. The kiln that Bill Webb gave us, she did most of the wiring herself, and then I did the final wiring to connect it up to the actual wall outlet and all that, and then put it all back together for her. So she hasn't used the kiln yet, but we're hoping we can fire. She's making a whole bunch of stuff because you try to fire a whole bunch of stuff at one time. You don't fire just one thing, because it's expensive to run the kiln. You have to run it for like 8 or 10 hours, and it's running really hot, and so it uses a lot of electric. So anyway, she's trying to fill the kiln up with all these different projects, and I'll show you how some of that turns out as it goes. You have to, if you're not into firing things like this, you fire it once like that, and that hardens it. And then you have to put the glazes on it and all that, and then you fire it again. So it gets fired twice. We're concerned, and she's real concerned that it's going to bust, because you don't know. I mean, this isn't your commercial type clay. Even commercial clay busts in the kilns a lot of times. So, the odds of this surviving, I would say, are about, I don't know, maybe 3 in 10. It's just about a 30% chance it's going to make it through. Let's see. The only other show and tell stuff is that I ordered another dozen Purple Martin houses. By mid-March, or for sure by the end of March, I definitely want my Purple Martin houses up. So I'm going to have to take down the ones I've got, clean them all out, fix them up, and then put up another dozen is what I'm expecting to do. And anyway, then I'll have approximately 3 dozen houses out there for them. And the numbers are really increasing from year to year, so I'm hoping I'll fill them all up. I don't know. The only other thing I've got to do this afternoon is I have to go up to the rental retreat. We've got guests coming, and I've already fixed the minor leak. I think I told you about that yesterday. I've already fixed that. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, that was another thing that came up if I didn't tell you. It was a leak under the sink, and I really think somebody took the trap off and loosened all the fittings, put it back on, but they didn't tighten them tight. So all of them were loose. Every single fitting was loose. And I'm going I know that's not how I put that stuff on there, because the instant I put it on, I tighten it up. I don't come back later and tighten it, So I know I didn't do that. And besides that, it's been up there for several years. I was thinking it was only a couple years, but it's probably closer to 5 or 6 years now that's all been up there, and it would have been leaking way before now if I would have installed it that way. So I'm assuming the last people that were up there probably caused that problem, or maybe the people before that, because maybe the last people didn't report it. But anyway, you just don't know. It's just one of them deals. Let's go to my little tiny firewood video for today here, and just to show you what the status is there. Well, welcome my friends back to the South Pole in Antarctica, where it's a balmy -6 degrees this morning. And of course I went out and cut more firewood. People always ask me where I find firewood in Antarctica, and I'd say you'd be surprised. It's just pretty much everywhere. But the idea now is to dump this. Unfortunately,
The dump sort of works, but it doesn't work well enough to dump that. I have to give it an assist. It does actually work, but I am now going to be forced to change it over to the new Vevor actuator because this one has seen its better days. It won't lift that without me helping to lift it. So I'll dump it and I'll show you what the pile looks like. You can see we don't have a whole lot left. There's enough there to almost fill it up one more time because those are pretty big logs. But anyway, this will keep me going through tomorrow. It's supposed to get pretty warm tomorrow. Well, there's the stove completely full. I put probably close to 2 wheelbarrows full of wood in there. You can see the flames starting to come through. It won't take it long to heat that up. And this is what's left of that really big load. That was a big load. And that's what's left. There's enough there to get me through till tomorrow, but not a whole lot more than that. Yeah, what a pain. Just not easy being me.
I'm sure you've never heard that. Let's go to the comments and see what's going on. David Tharp was the first one in, and he says, howdy y'all. Missed the live play along last night, but watched it later. I liked the Marty Robbins song From Where I Stand. He should have recorded that, and it would have been a hit, he says. Well, thank you, David, for your vote of confidence. And, you know, he might have recorded it if I'd ever gave it to him, but you know, it took me 30 years to write the stupid thing. If you heard my story last night, I started writing it when I was 18. I finished it when I was 48, and he was long gone by then. Oh, I can't even believe that happened. And those of you who didn't hear the story, I'll just tell you the encapsulated version. My brother and I were out on the back porch trying to write a song one night, back when I was only 18. Well, then I could barely play 3 chords. So, it just kind of was in one ear and out the other, basically. Well, anyway, fast forward 10 years, and now I'm 28, and I'm getting serious about music. Well, this song keeps popping into my head, and I can't figure out where it came from, but I think it's Marty Robbins. So I ask everybody I know and everybody that I sing it to, and I only could remember 2 or 3 words, 2 or 3 lines. And they'd all say, oh, yeah, I think that's an old Marty Robbins number. I think I've heard that. Yeah. And you'd call a DJ up or something, and he'd say, oh, yeah, that's an old Marty Robbins number. And, yeah, I don't know what album that's on, but I've heard that. Yeah, And so I'd call his fan club, or I'd contact his fan club, and they go, well, none of us can place it. It sounds like a Marty Robbins song, but we can't place it. And so finally, now I'm 48. So 18, and now I'm 48. I'm still looking for this song. And so at that point, I don't know, it just happened to pop in my mind about the time I was around my brother, and I asked my brother, do you know where this song came from? And he goes, well, yeah, I know where it came from, you big idiot. And he called me a few other expletives also. And I said, well, where did it come from? And he goes, well, you idiot, you wrote it. I said, I did? He goes, well, yeah, don't you remember we were sitting on the back porch, Mom and Dad's? I was playing the piano, and keep in mind, he was only 10 years old at the time. I was 18. Well, anyway, that's the story on the song. It took me forever. If I'd have got it written right away, I probably would have sent it to Marty. Anyway, moving on down. I'm just looking for question marks. If I miss your questions, I don't do it on purpose. These things scroll up and down all the time, and I'm pulling it back down, and I'm trying to find my place, and you already know I can't read where the darn, so I get lost, and I've been missing some people's comments, and again, I don't do it on purpose. Bill Webb, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. I hadn't been above freezing here in Commerce, Texas for the last 3 days. Now, just now, 32. We will see. Yeah, I don't know what the temperature is out there right now. It says 32.9 over there right now, so we're warming up now. That's a heat wave compared to this morning. That's 38 degrees warmer. Let's see. Lindenbaum, thank God for the global warming. Otherwise, I'd be froze solid with this weather. Well, I'm telling you, global warming's freezing me to death. It really is. And just go ahead and hate on that comment. I don't mind. If you don't have a sense of humor, you deserve to hate on that comment. Dottie Hildebrandt, I believe if Jerry would have recorded From Where I Stand, it would have been a hit. Well, thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I've never had any reason to go want to get rich, so, I just hold back that kind of stuff. Anything that could possibly make me rich, I just shy away from it. David Thorpe, with all the talk about root canals, if dentists make their money from people with bad teeth, why would you want to use the toothpaste that 4 out of 5 of them recommend? That's a good point. You got to think about it from that standpoint. Let's see. Dottie says, I missed part of the play along. I did watch it today. I love those songs. Well, thank you. Yeah, Marty Robbins is hard to beat. He's just hard to beat. For those of you who didn't hear, we will have the band here next Thursday night, so the band's going to be here then. And Dottie's praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. See, Dottie says, my donation's on PayPal. Well, thank you, Dottie. You are very kind. Steve Mays, bluegrass is an acquired taste. If you don't like it, you need to acquire some taste. Maybe that's why I like it, because I could taste everything. Steve Mays, I had a date last night. It was perfect. Tomorrow I'll try a grape. Let's see. Ronald Tide, what kind of music do mummies listen to? Rap music. David Tharp, I lost my water job. The customer complained about me having my thumb on his steak. His waiter job, sorry. I lost my waiter job. The customer complained about me having my thumb on his steak. I said I had to keep it from sliding off and falling on the floor again. I like tacking on again. Let's see. Ben Boyd, great show last night. Not to get political, but on a recent flight, I was wondering how many passengers honestly hope their pilots were hired through a diversity inclusion program. Well, my guess would be very, 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 very few. Let's see. Moving on down after we went live, David Tharp, I still have my late friend in my contacts. I guess we shouldn't have scattered his ashes on such a windy day. Let's see. You're going to have to get the air hose out and blow out your contacts. Might blow your eyeball out of socket, though. Let's see. Scott Roberts. Yeah, Jerry, we like your blue shirt, but it's not blue, it's yellow. Now, come on. You can't fool me. I know it's blue. Let's see. I know y'all have heard my story about my pink shirt, right? I'm sure there's somebody that hasn't, but so I'll try to tell it fast, but it's hard to tell fast because it's a long story. But anyway, it was a brand new dress shirt, and it looked white to me. I thought it was a white shirt, and I had no idea it was a different color than that. It just looked like a normal white dress shirt. So I put it on, put on my tie, went to work at the van pool, because I was in a van pool at the time. When I get on the van, this lady says, "Oh, I like that shirt." And, I had a suit on too, by the way. I mean, a suit jacket, and I'm thinking, well, thank you. I'm just thinking it's a white shirt. I'm assuming, I don't know nothing about fashion. I'm assuming that Sue bought something with some different kind of collar or some kind of different buttons or something that is in, that kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm just a stupid white shirt as far as I can tell. Well, 3 or 4 different women throughout the day are going, every time you'd walk down the hall or, through somebody's office or something, they'd say, "Oh, I like that shirt," I go, "Oh, well, thank you." I'm still clueless as to what the problem is. So anyway, that night on the van pool, a different lady says, "Man, I really like that shirt," And I said, "All right, stop the van. What's the deal here?" All day long, people have been telling me they like this white business shirt. What is the deal with that? What's up with it? Is it cut different? Does it have a different collar? What's the deal? And they go, "White? It's pink." I went home and wrung Sue's neck. It was funny. I had no clue it was pink. I had no clue. And she didn't tell me, of course. If she'd have told me, I probably wouldn't have wore it. Let's see. Couple cool. Congratulations on reaching 109,000 subscribers, buddy. Good going. Well, thank you. I'm not going quite as fast as JR is, but I knew his channel would take off. I told him way before he started it that he would pass me up in no time. He passed me up. He only, two or 3 years max is what it took him to get to 100,000. It took me 10 years to get to 100,000. Musical instruments is fun and it's a neat niche, but it is a tiny niche compared to YouTube, and animals is a huge thing on YouTube, and therefore I knew his channel would take off and go crazy, and it did. Bill Webb, I hate a toothache worse than any kind of pain. Well, I got to tell you, it ain't fun, that's for sure. But like I've told you before, and I'm not just saying this, it ain't nothing compared to that first kidney operation thing I had. Oh my gosh, that was suicidal, and I'm not kidding. And all the other extreme pain things I've had were nothing compared to the kidney. And this toothache, it hurts, but it ain't nothing compared to the kidney. It ain't nothing compared to that. Bill Mumbo, clove oil is good for a toothache. Okay. I'm just going to let that pass. And the only reason is because it's clove oil. It just automatically sounds like a plant thing to me. And, I taste chlorophyll in plants, and I don't know that I would taste it in that oil. I don't have any idea. I don't even know what clove oil is. But I'm seriously telling you, I can taste stuff that you have no idea. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, my doctor, when he first tested me for that, after the science teacher told me that, well, I went to my doctor, and he said, "Man," after he checked into it, he goes, "You should be a wine taster. You'd make $1 million." And I said, "No, I don't like the taste of wine." Scott Roberts, I'm scheduled for a root canal right there in the same area. Have another week and half to go, but it's feeling better today. Yeah, it's funny how they always feel better the day you have to go get it done. Yeah, that's the way it is with me with the doctor. I'll have some kind of pain or something. I'm going into the doctor, and that particular day when you get there, you're just like, well, it's really not hurting that bad today. Usually because you wait 3 weeks before you get in, Sidecar Bob, hi all, and the fellow in the blue shirt. I'm feeling a lot better today, so I'll be in and out of the room while I catch up on some chores, but I will be able to hear everything. Okay, and it just scrolled on me yet again. Okay, I think I found it. Ronald Todd, our practice is on Thursday. Is your practice as well? Okay, yeah. Well, we don't really practice anymore, if that's what you're talking about, but we're going to have our live show next Thursday. Unpracticed, by the way. So it'll just be what it is. David Tharp, a lady went to the dentist and said, "I don't know which is worse, getting a root canal or having a baby." The dentist said, "Well, make up your mind so I know how to adjust this chair." Gino Hitch, hi Jerry and all. Like your blue shirt. Really enjoyed the show yesterday. Well, thank you, Gino. Appreciate it. Dottie says, congratulations, 109,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. You know, you always want more, you know. But I'm not really trying to go beyond that too much. I mean, I don't know. I would love it if it would grow. Don't get me wrong. But I won't live long enough to see it do anything else. I'm not going to get the $1 million plaque. There's no chance. I mean, it took 10 years to get the 100,000. So, you know, take, 90 more years or something? 80 more years, I guess. Ben Boyd, would a floor jack at your favorite store, Harbert Freight, today? Bought a floor jack at your favorite store, Harbor Freight. Look for you, but didn't see you, of course. I'm in Arkansas, though. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, Harbor Freight is one of my favorite places to go these days. I can't. Menards is the other one. Those are the two main choices I have, you know. We do have a Lowe's also, and I do go to Lowe's occasionally too now. I used to go to Lowe's all the time, but I like Menards. I really do. And plus it's also, it's only a few miles, but it's a few miles closer. So, and it's right on the highway, so it's easy to get on and off. So Menards is real handy for me. Ben Boyd bought let's see, Bill Webb, put those stickers on that mandolin. Not likely. Yeah, I don't ever do anything with stickers. I only just bought them to round up my dollars. Dottie Hildebrandt, put the stickers on your cup. Yeah, well, this is a pretty sandy feeling cup right now. You can feel the sand in the clay and everything. But after she glazes it, it might stick. Captain says, nice blue t-shirt. Well, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Sky Roberts, maybe Bob came back to haunt you with that plumbing. Yeah, it's possible, and I don't know what made me think of this morning, but there was one more thing that Bob did that just really, I can't even put it in words. I've shown a tour of this house a time or two on the channel, and if you remember back there in the back, we had the big master bedroom that I had to remodel and pull out a wall and all kinds of stuff. And then the big bathroom not too long ago, I told you how Bob, had the clothes piled up on the 12-foot table there and had them piled all the way to the ceiling, and he painted the walls all the way around except where the clothes were, and the wall was completely unpainted behind the clothes. Well, in that same room, this was unknowns to me until I'd already finished all the remodeling. I did not know, but Bob also added about that much thickness of concrete on top of the concrete floor that was already there. Now, why he did it, I don't have any idea. He was an idiot. And so he did that. I just assumed, because I didn't know, I just assumed that when they made the three different houses, they connected the three houses together, I just assumed that the height of that house was just slightly different than the other ones. Well, then later I found out from the boy that, he was adopted to work here. Basically, he was a slave. He hated his father. He really did, the guy that adopted him. He loved his mother. His mother was very kind to him, and so, he comes back here to visit her grave every once in a while, and then he stops in here. And so I just happened to mention it to him. I said, I showed him the remodel, and I said, yeah, it's a shame that floor couldn't have been the same level. And he goes, well, it always was the same level. I said, really? I said, because it's got a step up there. It's about an inch and a half, something like that, step up. And he's going, well, no. So when we did it, it was perfectly level, 100% level. And so I got to looking at it, and sure enough, I'm sure it was Bob, because nobody else is stupid enough to do that. Put about that much concrete in that room. It just stupid, just completely stupid. If I'd have known it when I was remodeling it, I would have just took a jackhammer and busted all that out so the floors would have stayed level, So that's yet another one that Bob got me on. I'm 99% sure it was Bob. I don't know who else would have done something that dumb. Plus, Bob was the one that made the bathroom back in the corner. I told you, because it's a huge room. I mean, it's huge. For a bathroom, it's huge. I mean, we've now got 2 walk-in closets in there, 2 separate bathrooms in there, and plenty of room. And even now, and we made the room smaller because we moved to make the bedroom bigger. We moved the wall back. So, all of those things into consideration, and then he built the bathroom in the far corner of the thing, and he had it all crammed together so tight you could literally not open the shower door without hitting the toilet. And I mean, like hitting it a lot, where you had to kind of squeeze through the door. What an idiot. I mean, absolute total idiot. I'm serious. You've never met anybody like this. Scott, let's see, where am I at here? Let's see, Bill Webb. I've lost my place. It must have scrolled on me. Wow, it must scroll a lot. Okay, I think I found back to Scott Roberts where he says maybe Bob came back and hunted you with that plumbing. Then Bill Webb says, I wrote a song that I could just hear Randy Travis singing, but I don't see that ever happening with his current health problems. Well, I don't know if you saw it, but they are now putting out new albums with his voice using AI. It's weird. I don't, it's not him actually singing it, but somehow, I don't know exactly. And he's in on it. I mean, Randy's involved in it, but I don't know the whole story. I don't remember the whole story on it. I did watch the little article on it, though. I think I saw that on YouTube, too. Don Nice, Jerry, your shirt with the red words on a blue shirt is awesome. Well, thank you. Let's see. Bruce Moore, say hi to great-grandson Tate Henry Dilbeck. He's interested in learning mandolin and guitar. Well, Tate, son, I would say get after it. I don't know how old you are, but especially if you're in the neighborhood of 10 years old, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, you're at the perfect age. Perfect age. Get after it and don't take no for an answer. Just stick with it and go for it until you get it. You'll be surprised how fast it comes. It takes you a little while to get over that hump. You get that first song down, the next one comes a lot faster. The next one faster and faster. It starts to snowball. WP, bet somebody dropped their ring down the drain and didn't put it back tight after finishing. Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened. I think they dropped something down the dang drain, took it apart, because I am absolutely 9,000% sure I did not leave it loose like that. I mean, it was loose. It wasn't even really tight, And when I tighten, that was another thing. My buddy Ron McClanahan that was making those deer antler saddles for me for several years. Well, anyway, he says, man, I hate following you around in the shop. He says, everything you've tightened down, I can't loosen it up. And so my hands are pretty powerful. They're big hands, and I always just crank stuff down. So I know when I tighten those plastic things down, they're tight. So I know it wasn't loose like that. Let's see. Tom Armstrong, always liked the Marty Robbins song El Paso. Yeah, that's a great song. It really is. It really is. It's a long, long song. It's a difficult song to do. So I haven't bothered trying to really learn that one. I sing along with it on the radio, but I've never really tried to learn it. Scott Roberts, well, I'll bet you really looked pretty in pink. Yeah, I guess I did, because I'm not lying to you. I bet you at least 6 different women that day, and maybe more than that, said something about that shirt. And I'm not lying to you. I'm not making this up to have a story. I'm telling you this is black and white truth. I had no clue why they were saying that. I'm going, I'd look down at it and I'd look at the buttons and go, is there something different? I'd look at the sleeves and go, there's got to be some reason they keep saying this. I have no idea. Well, and it's the same as the funny story about my shoes, and I've told this one several times too, but I'm going to tell it again because it sounds like some of you had not heard the pink shirt story, so the shoe story is just as bad. It's probably worse. So I'm in Famous and Bar downtown on my lunch hour. It's a big department store. It's just like Macy's, except it's Famous and Bar. It's a multiple story building with, multiple floors. Like one floor is lingerie and the other floor is perfume and the other floor is something else. Well, I go to the shoe floor, and I'm looking for these. I'm not big into fashion, but all the men downtown wore these wingtip shoes or whatever you call them. I don't know. I don't even know nothing about that stuff. But anyway, I was looking for this particular kind of dress shoe, a tie-up type shoe, it's got that little weird design on the toe. So I'm looking for those. So I find them, and they're like $225 for a pair of these stupid things. And I'm going, there's no way. I'm not paying $225. No, keep in mind, this was back in the 90s, mid-90s, probably early mid-90s. So anyway, there's no way I'm paying $225 for a pair of shoes. So on the way home, I thought, well, there's several shoe stores on the way home. So I stop at one, nothing, stop at the next one, in fact, it's the last one before I get to my home. It's another 6 or so miles out to my house, but this is the last shoe store on the way. So I stopped there thinking, well, you never know. So I pull in there and I go back there, and sure enough, they had the exact pair, the exact same brand name, everything. It was exactly the same. It was only $85. I said, mine. Took them up and they were my size even. And it was the only pair they had. That was the only pair they had. That should have been the clue. So I take them up to the cash register, and this little 18-year-old girl, she looks at the shoes. I swear to you, I'm not making this up. This is exactly how she did it. She looks down at the shoes like this, and then she looks up at me like that, and then she looks back down at the shoes like that. And she didn't say a word. So I take them home, and I tell my wife the story that they were $225. This is the same brand, same everything. And, I said, these were only $85. And she goes, well, they're really nice shoes, but you won't wear them. And I said, what do you mean I won't wear them? I bought them to wear. And she's going, no, you're not going to wear these. And I said, why not? And she goes, they're purple. So of course I had to take them back. So when I take them back, I see this little girl, and I said, now, I distinctly remember you looking down at the shoes, and then you look up at me, and then you look back down at the shoes. Why didn't you say something? She goes, I just thought you liked purple. Anyway, it was funny. But it's a true story, 100% true story. Yeah, and the funny thing is, if I didn't have the basis of comparison, meaning like you people and other people, I would not know I'm colorblind. I mean, because I see a lot of colors. Apparently, I just don't see them correctly. I mean, I do not see in black and white at all. I do not even sort of see in black and white. There's all kinds of colors. Just apparently they aren't the right ones. Anyway. I will tell you this, though, that all dark colors, well, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of dark colors, depending on the light, they look black. So that's why those shoes in the store, they look black. Now, you get them out in the sunlight, or if you got the sun shining on them, I can see that they weren't black. But they have to have a lot of sun shining on them before I can tell that. Let's see, Bill. I think I'm here. It says, Bill Webb says, one of the guys we jam with is always complaining that I play everything too fast. He even says that about the songs I write and play. Who's he to tell me I'm playing my own songs too fast? Yeah, there you go. Well, a lot of guys, I won't mention any names, but Gary Haven comes to mind. He's in our band. He plays the guitar. He plays slow songs. I mean, like he says this all the time. I'm the antithesis of Jerry. I'm playing songs that are fast, generally speaking, and I play some slow songs, and he plays some medium fast songs. He doesn't play anything real fast, but he mostly plays slow songs, and I mostly play fast songs. Let's see. Scott Roberts, and I loved your pink shirt story. Ha ha ha. Gary Cooper, letters are blue, shirt is yellow. You guys are just trying to fake me out. I know better. Tom Armstrong, how is your dog Sadie doing? Well, she's next door. I don't ever see her. JR's got her going on now. I'm probably going to take her out a day or two this spring and just borrow her and go back and see if we can find any deer antlers. Because she'll probably still find them. She was pretty good at that, actually. She was getting really good at it. Let's see. Zachariah 55. You were a trendsetter, Jerry. Now many macho men easily wear pink. Yeah. It was funny. It scrolled on me. I honestly don't know where it went. Wow. Okay, here we go. Okay, here it is. Chipwood. My musical career hit a wall when I signed a contract with Columbia Recording Studios, but they never signed their end of it and sent it back with postage due. Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's another way to tell a joke about Columbia, like you signed up or something. I don't know. But anyway, you ended up ordering all their records. They sent them to you. And I don't know. I can't remember how it went. But I've heard that. I thought that was the joke you were getting ready to tell there. Sidecar Bob, you got lucky. When Homer Simpson wore a pink shirt to work, they sent him to a mental asylum. Let's see. Mike Jones, you want 1 million subs. Go back to Italy and start an American pizza restaurant. Mike Jones, Rosa Pizza Works. Yeah, there you go. Show them the stuffed crust. Dottie Hildebrand, never heard of Menards, but love Harbor Freight. Well, Menards is just like, it's pretty much exactly like a Lowe's or a, the bigger one. I don't know. We don't have any around here. I can't think of it. Just those big box hardware stores. I can't think of the big one. I don't know. I can almost see it, but I can't think of its name. David Tharp, I had a record deal with Columbia Records. It was good. They send me one every month, and I could cancel anytime. Yeah, there you go. There's the joke I was looking for. Yeah, I signed a record deal with Columbia. That's it. And they send me a record each month. It's like my records. You guys probably didn't realize that I had 1 million seller. I mean, I have 1 million of them in my cellar. Let's see. Ronald Todd, give the stickers to JR's son. He can put them on his lawn tractor. Good point. Mike Jones, let's see. Okay, there's no question marks there. I'm trying to read the question marks so we can get through this here. Let's see. He's talking about the Presley girls there a little bit. I've watched them a number of times. They're twins, and they're fun to watch. Tom Armstrong, new song, Bob Was an Idiot. Yeah, it would be such a sad song. I don't know if I could write it. Scott Roberts, Bill Webb. I applied for the job of listening to submitted demos for Randy Travis back in 1994, but they didn't take me up on it. I was going to submit one, but they didn't have time to listen. Sidecar Bob, I wonder if he raised the bathroom door to run pipes under it. No, the ironic thing was I did have to tear out some of the floor, and I did notice that that layer was on top, but it was after I got in. I had pretty much already done everything, and all I was doing was running some water pipes at that point. I had all the walls up and partitions up and everything, but I had to break out some of the floor and go and snake some pipe through. Well, I kind of realized it at that point that that was a layer on top, but I still didn't connect the dots, and it was already too late at that point to tear it all out. But anyway, I found out later that it wasn't originally like that. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. When old Bob was a kid, his parents were sure he was going to be an astronaut. All the teachers kept telling them that Bob seemed to be taking up space. He was taking up space for sure. Yeah, he was using my oxygen. Kim Williford is just so fake. AI is just so fake. I like Randy Travis. I'm sorry, but I won't buy any of his current CDs. Yeah, well, I kind of get where you're coming from there. Randy, of course, is, he's in such a bad way. I think he's trying to do anything. I mean, he's fully supporting it. I think it's just a way for him to try to make some money, you know what I'm saying? And maybe support his problems, I guess. I don't feel too bad about that part of it. I don't necessarily like anything that's machine done. These people that use, like Cher, for instance, they use auto-tune and autocorrect on her voice and different people's voices like that. No, you shouldn't do that. I mean, either you can sing or you can't sing, and that's the way it ought to be. But that's not the way it works anymore. Almost everything you hear these days has been auto-corrected, auto-pitched, especially with these young superstar-looking kind of cowboy people that aren't country, Most of those guys can't sing and lick. They basically made it because of the way they look and the way they act. And then they just fix it in post, if you will. Preston Johnson, hey, Jerry, I think Bob did all of those dumb projects deliberately to keep you busy in the future. Love the Bob stories. Yeah, he was a freaking mess, man. I'm seriously telling you, you have no idea. And like I said, if his mouth was moving, he was lying. You could just bet on that. Let's see. Gary Hayes has no question. Yeah, he does have question marks. I looked at that. I didn't even see the question marks. It says, From Where I Stand is a good song that Marty has ever done. I think it would have been a great hit. Well, thank you. Scott Roberts. Hey, Jerry, I've been wearing the same pair of wingtip shoes since 1992 when I was a cobbler. Yeah, those are the kind of shoes that last. I mean, they're very well made type shoes, but first of all, I'm a tightwad when it comes to stuff like that. Now, I wouldn't mind spending $225 on a tool, but but I don't want to spend it on a pair of shoes. I mean, all you do is walk on the darn things. Scott Roberts, ha ha ha, and I love the shoe story too. Too funny. Well, that's 100% true. I swear to you. When I got home, I was so deflated when Sue says they're purple. I'm like, oh, God, you got to be kidding me. Scott Roberts, you are a lot of fun, Jerry. Thanks for the laughs. I needed that today. Well, good. I'm glad you got something out of it anyway. The spoken song, you play fast, he plays slow, and I play half-assed. Yep. That's kind of the way I play mostly. Rod Wintler, Home Depot. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it was right there. I just couldn't get it off the end of my tongue. Dot Hildebrandt, put a tea bag on your hurting tooth. Okay. Yeah, it kept me awake most of the night. I got about 3 hours whether I needed it or not last night. Kim Williford, I signed up for, yeah, and by the way, I'm sorry, Kim, I didn't mean to interrupt reading your thing, but when I asked the doctor or the dentist office, I said, "Is there anything I can do for the pain?" Ibuprofen. Well, you already have heard me say how many times I've taken ibuprofen in my life, and I'm not lying. I feel that much result. Zero, none, not any. I have never taken an ibuprofen in my life where I thought it did any good. And I've taken a lot of them, trust me. I mean, mostly because people, especially when you were younger, your mom would give you one or something, I've taken them all my life, and I don't think they've ever done one thing for me, ever. And so I didn't even bother on the tooth thing. And I did try a couple of aspirin. Sometimes aspirin seems to help, but I didn't really notice any effect on that last night. Let's see. Kim Williford, I signed up for the world's records. I got to watch the Olympics for free. Cool. Ben Boyd, were you trying to think of Ace Hardware or Tractor Supply? No, it was Home Depot. That was the one I was trying to think of. The big box store. Yeah, Menards and Home Depot, I mean, they're very, 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 very similar. The one thing about Home Depot, the one thing about Menards, and now Lowe's is doing it, and I don't know if Home Depot is doing it, but Menards has groceries too. And I don't mean they have a full-blown grocery store, but they have a lot of groceries. A lot of the basics, necessities and stuff. And so being me, I'd much rather pick up something there than go to Walmart, because Walmart is just chaos from the moment you walk in the door to the time you get out of there, including the parking lot. So for me, it's just perfect. I just pick up whatever little bit of groceries I need. I don't need much because I don't eat much. But if I'm looking for something, I just pick it up there. Gino Hitch, are you related to Larissa Restaurants La Rosa? Not anything about it that I know of. I have no clue on that one. Papa Tom says, purple shoes with the pink shirt. Dapper. And no relation as far as I can tell. Let's see. Tom Armstrong, maybe Bob was trying to get 2 inches closer to heaven. Yeah, maybe. What is a wingtip shoe? A wingtip shoe is literally that little weird design with the little holes in it, and it's got the little, little flare delay or whatever that thing is that it looks like that French little design on the tip of the shoe. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's just a pair of black dress shoes with the little holes on the toe. They got the little holes halfway through. They don't go all the way through to your feet. They just go through that top layer of leather, and then they've got that little fleur-de-lis symbol on it. I don't know. That's the way I remember it. But anyway, that's what wingtip shoes are. They're just dress shoes, basically. Almost any business person, at least in St. Louis, in the downtown area, was wearing them. Almost everybody was wearing them. And I was always the odd guy out, Wavy Gravy, the best thing I did that took my mind off my tooth pain was to drop a bowling ball on my bare toes. That'd probably do it. Kim Williford, ha ha ha, I got you, Jerry. Okay. Oh, I got you. I get your joke now, Kim. I'm sorry about the Olympics. I got you. I don't know. I was in a different mind. So you got to remember, anytime you mention the Olympics to me, I go somewhere else because I almost made it there. It was just a big deal to me, and It was a really big deal to me. And that stupid coach made me jump on the trampoline and pretty much put an end to that real fast. Scott Roberts, Papa Tom, that would make a good Marty Robbins song. Purple shoes and a sissy pink shirt. A white sports coat and a pink carnation. But I think that was the other guy, not Marty Robbins. But they kind of sounded alike. I can't think of his name either. I know it. I can't think of it. Time to start writing another million seller song. Let's see. Pivo El Nico. What is the best sounding acoustic guitar you have ever played? I don't know. There's a lot of really good ones out there. I've played a lot of really good ones. Martins, Taylors, even Gibsons. They all make some good ones. So I can't say I know one is way better than all the others. But even some of the Rosas that I've made, I would stack them up with the best. I really would. So there you go. I really can't even say. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you made a comment there. I don't remember seeing your name before, but honestly, if I could think of one that stood out above all the others, I would say it for sure, but I really can't. I think with guitars and mandolins specifically, and specifically with mandolins, you got to play them to know if it's really good. You can't just buy it over the internet. You know what I'm saying? At least that's me talking out loud. Having said that, most of the Eastman mandolins I've seen in the shop, in fact, all of them have been pretty good. So they've been pretty consistent. And I think that's one thing that most luthiers will tell you is that anytime they're building an instrument, every one of them is different. Well, that wasn't my experience. When I was building my guitars, my mandolins, they all had kind of the similar sound because I did exactly the same thing on every single one of them. And they all sounded very, very similar. And I'm talking like carving them to the thousandth of an inch. So that makes a difference. It's how they're made makes a difference. Theron Corbett, Brogans is the style of shoe. Brogans? Okay, all right. Yeah, I've heard that term, but I would never have come up with that until you said it again. Tom Armstrong just had rotator cuff surgery, and they have me alternating Tylenol and ibuprofen. Well, I hope it works for you, Tom, but I swear to you, ibuprofen and Tylenol, that much. I'm not kidding you. I say this, and I think people take this the wrong way, the way I say it, but I say I do not have a placebo gene. I'm not lying. Something with me, medicine specifically, it either works or it does not work, period. There's no in between. There's no, it sort of helped. No, it either works or it doesn't work. It's just black and white with me. And that's why all the different remedies people were sending me for my hands, not a single one of them helped at all. A lot of people, and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to make this sound like a put down because that's not what it is. They can take an ibuprofen or an aspirin or, whatever, Tylenol, and they can feel better. I can't. It's either got to fix it or it don't fix it. There's nothing in my brain that lets me feel better. I don't know how to explain that. It's something I'm telling you, I'm put together different. Even when I was a kid, my mom would give me this or that, and I'd go, that doesn't do nothing, and it's just always been that way. Ronald Todd, and by the way, and this is a black and white from the doctors, not me. This came from the doctors. They said, you have what we call the paradoxical reaction to lots of medicines. And I am trying to think of one specifically. Well, caffeine is the most obvious one. Caffeine makes me crazy sleepy. I cannot sleep almost, period, if I don't drink caffeine. I have to drink it to sleep. I was on a caffeine-free diet for a year when I had the Meniere's disease, and I did not sleep. And I know it'll sound like an exaggeration, but I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. I did not sleep more than 2 hours in a row for a whole year because I couldn't drink any caffeine. The first night that I finally blew it off because I could tell the medicine was hurting me more than it was helping me, and I just, on my own, just quit it. I quit the medicine, and then that same night I said, heck with this bull crap. I'm going to drink a Pepsi. So I drank a Pepsi that night. I slept 8 straight hours without waking up once. So caffeine is just one of the examples, but I have the same kind of reaction to lots of medicines. And I have a feeling that those Tylenols and ibuprofen are like that with me. They just don't do anything. But aspirin sort of does sometimes, but just sort of kind of sometimes. And it depends on the kind of pain. Let's see. Ronald Todd says Bill Anderson. And it's got question marks. I don't know what you're getting at there, Ron. Let's see. Scott Roberts. Yes, it was Marty Robbins. White. That white sports coat. And it was Marty Robbins. Well, there's another guy that I thought it might have been. God, I can see his face. I can't think of his name. Sorry. Anyway, Bill Webb says, to me, Menards is a closer to Northern Tool than a Home Depot. Really? Okay. Yeah, I don't see it that way, but I guess you could go along with that too, The thing about Menards is they don't have a lot of their stuff inside the store like Home Depot and Lowe's does. A lot of their stuff's out behind the store. That's the difference in Menards, which is the part of Menards I don't really like. Like their lumber and all that stuff, you have to go back in the back to get it. Around back. You have to take your truck around back, that kind of thing, which is kind of a pain. But other than that, I really like Menards. Rod Wintler, Marty Robbins. Okay. Well, white sport coat and pink carnation. I would say Marty would have done that for sure. But there's another guy about the same time frame that I kind of thought did that song too, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Kim Williford. Perhaps Sue should have said those shoes were blue suede. Well, you could have convinced me if she'd have said that. Dottie Hildebrandt, Tylenol and ibuprofen, that's a joke for pain. Yeah, well, for me it is. It just doesn't do anything for me. Zero, none, not anything. Might as well just be pouring water on the problem because it's just nothing. Have you ever tried Gapatin? Well, Bill Rhodes has asked me that a few times. No, I have not. No, I have not. And I forgot to ask the doctor the last time I was there. I was going to ask him about that. Sonny James. Yes, I think that is the name of the person I was trying to say. Yeah, I think that's it. Sonny James. And I would have thought he did white sports coat and pink carnation, but I don't know that for sure. Bill Mumbo, put question marks before your messages so Jerry can see them. Yes, please. Let's see. Scott Roberts, it was one of Marty Robbins' biggest hits, and I should know. Okay. Well, I was a big Marty Robbins fan. And I'm sure I've heard him do it. But I also thought I thought somebody else had the first hit on it or a bigger hit on it. I don't remember, but I guess I thought it was Sonny James, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I get those kinds of facts. I get confused all the time. Wavy Gravy, Jerry, you should write a song called "The Ballad of Old Bob." Bob's greatest achievements in life was learning how to walk on his hind legs. I'm not sure he learned it. See. Scott Kern, you just saved me a bunch of money. Was going to buy those expensive spatula blades on StuMac and saw a video of yours where you mentioned they were cake offset icing spatulas. Saved $70. Yeah. Well, that. Yeah. For removing like the bridge and stuff, I'm pretty sure the one I have, I'm not 100% sure, but the one that was my favorite, I'm pretty sure it was an artist spatula. It's a very stiff one that I just rounded the end off. You want one that doesn't bend super easy. You want one that's flexible, but it doesn't bend super easy. Because if they fold up and bend when you're pushing on them, that's no good. You know, it needs to be pretty stout. The cake spatula thing would probably work under certain conditions for sure. Scott Roberts, nope. Marty was the one who did it first and made it a hit. Okay, all right. I don't doubt you. I was just thinking that I remember Sonny James doing it, but maybe I'm wrong. Scott Roberts, check out my radio program sometime. I get into stuff like that. Well, cool. Well, I used to have a couple of radio programs, but mostly mine were just playing bluegrass music for the most part. Didn't get into too much beyond that. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. 146 viewers. I don't know if I'll get a video out this weekend or not, but if I can find one, I'll try to put one together. We would normally have a jam at the Houston House in Newburgh tonight, but I think it was already canceled last month for this month. And it's a good thing probably because it's of all the snow that's out there, a lot of people wouldn't come anyway because of the snow. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I will see you on Monday, if not before.